back to the channel. I know it's been a hot minute. We've been super busy here, but I kind of want to just tie back in and take a look at what this wall's been like in the last couple of years. Like many of you, home walls became a reality back in like early 2020 for obvious reasons. Up to that point, we'd already started building this wall, and then March 2020 happened, and it became something we needed to get done sooner rather than later, and we finished building this. And a lot of you were there for that part of the journey with me. We started this overhang 36-degree wall, and then I was able to build this 0-degree behind me. And I kind of want to just talk about that today. I know it's been a hot minute since we talked, since we've done anything, but I just kind of want to go over some lessons learned and what I would do differently if I were to do it again. If I were to build another wall in the future, what considerations I would have. And then I want to also tie in with that my hold shaping. Was it worth it? Do I still do it? Yes, I think is the answer to both those questions, but I kind of want to go into a little more specifics than that. So let's hop to it. Right off the bat, I said I built this 36-degree first, and I think that was my first mistake. It's got an 18-inch kickboard, and my goal at the time when I did the math was just I want an 18-inch kickboard, and then I want to go to the highest I can in my roof, down to the top of that kickboard, and whatever degree it turns out to be is what I'm going to work with. And that turned out to be 36 degrees, and that was super steep for me at the time. I hadn't been climbing very long, and 36 degrees was really hard, and it took me a long time to be able to climb effectively on that. There's an argument to be made over, well, it's going to make you stronger faster. Not really, because I couldn't afford to put the holds on it that were useful to me. So for a long time, this wall was very, very sparse in holds, and it was basically just I had 6 or 7 volumes, and I would have holds from on that volume, and then this volume, and then that volume, and all my routes would go around it, those volumes, and I only had a dozen holds maybe that I could stick on the wall. I feel like I just kind of jumped off the deep end with this degree of a wall. What I wish I had done is just take the wall all the way to the bottom. Maybe have a 6-inch kickboard, but more than likely just take it all the way to the bottom and maybe take it down to high 20 degree, maybe 30 degree. Ideally, I would like to have had an 18 to 20 degree. I feel like that's just enough steepness to make things difficult, but I would have been able to put a lot more holes on the wall a lot faster for a lot cheaper. As it is, you can see some of the monsters I have on here now, and it's really only been the last year and a half since I've had bigger holds. Even slopier, difficult holds, but bigger holds to work with that I would able to really make use of this wall. Now I feel like I can climb pretty steep pretty well for the grades I'm trying to hit, but it's only been the last year and a half when I've been able to afford to put bigger holds on here. So I wish I hadn't gone quite as steep unless I'd already been at the skill level I am now. If I were building another wall in the future, I probably would do 30 degrees. And I have the holds and I have the strength to actually make use of it. But for the first probably 2 to 3 years, I really feel like this wall was wasted. And I did most of my work on this 0 degree. On the 0 degree, I was able to put everything on here. I could put small holds, large holds, screw-ons, everything. And I think that this is where the bulk of my strength came from, just doing laps of circuits on this, and then maybe a couple on this one until, again, the last year. So those are things I would do differently. I don't know that the kickboard really needs to be there unless you're on just a super steep wall. And if it does, take it down to 6 to 8 inches at the most. Mine's 1.5 feet. That's just strictly too much. How do I feel like hold shaping helped me out in this? Well, I definitely think it did. There's an argument to be made over whether it's cost efficient or not, and I think it is within reason. Now, there's a gym here local that I put a lot of holes on the wall there. I think there's 7 or 8, 9 lines of my holds on that wall right now. So I feel like I got my cost in, because I don't pay to climb at that gym because of my hold shaping. So I feel like I got my cost back for what I invested in the holes because of that, but if I were just doing the home wall, it'd be more difficult. So I think within reason, like these little chips here, these screw-on chips, easily. I can shape this, I can cast it, I can cast 4 or 5 of these and $40 worth of silicone, and I can cast a ton of them out of $100 worth of polyurethane. So I feel like I can get my money back on these really easily, and I can use them in a lot of different places. Again, here to be a little more difficult. Crimps, you can get up here, kind of the same thing, just a little less effective, but still pretty cheap to produce, and I can do these a lot. I think where it gets difficult is when I get to these sizes like this. Now I'm looking at hollow backing them, and yeah, I can climb on these on this wall here, and it's almost too much for this one. But but do I need 8 of them? Do I need even 6 of them? Am I going to be able to print enough of these to justify the cost I put into it on the front end? And this is where it gets kind of questionable. This is where I kind of start drawing the line, and I really need to be able to make a bunch of these to make that money back on it. Now, because I have the gym I climb at, I'm going to make that money back on it. But will it work for a home wall? Probably not. So for feet, crimps, small holds, I think absolutely, and I'm still doing that. But I don't really get this big unless I'm planning on doing a bunch of these for the gym. Or I'm just really, 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 really want a certain hold to train on. So I think keep that in mind when you're looking at shaping. Overall, this wall has been awesome. I've learned a lot on this wall. I have a lot of different holds. I've got some Trango. I like the Minorcan stuff. I've got some decoy. I've got a lot of escape or the kingdom stuff. I've got some stoked volumes on here. I've got some method grips, and I've got some catalyst grips. I've got a lot of good holds on here, and the overhanging is mostly purchased holds at this point. I have a lot of feet. I always print more feet. I think that's the number one reason to do any shaping and casting whatsoever, is so you can just create a ton of feet and not have to worry about that. But other than feet and some small crimps, most of this overhanging wall stuff that I've purchased, just because the style of hold that I want to climb on, I don't need a bunch of these. And a hold like this would cost me a ton of money to shape and cast. And if I had any kind of an error in it, I would lose that much money on it. So trying to stay smaller. With this wall, I have a lot more of my own holds on here. All these are this. There's a lot more of my own work on here, and there's a lot of holds here that I've shaped specifically for projects and put on this wall. So over here, I see a lot more of that, a lot more of the smaller stuff, just because it's a face climbing wall. But overall, the wall's been awesome. I haven't stripped out T-nuts as much as I thought I would. I've never blown a T-nut on this wall, knock on wood. I've slowly improved the bedding. I've got actually hospital beds now for my padding. I've got 3 of them across, and then I've got crash pads that I throw around for my specific climbs that I'm working on, and that seemed to work out really well. But it's been really great. I think this has been a successful wall, and I think there's some things that I wish I had done differently and I would do on the next wall. Just kind of throw them out there. Just kind of a heads up and lessons learned, really. So if you got any questions, are there any lessons that you've learned with your home wall, things that you wish you had done differently, or things you're afraid of doing, feel free to tie in, post some comments below, shoot me some questions, catch me on Instagram at Aux'Arc Climbing, AUXARC. There's also the Home Climbing Wall forum on Facebook that's really good, and then we have, of course, our DIY Climbing Holds Facebook page, or Facebook group, I guess, which is inundated with bot requests all the time. So if you send a request to hop in the group, we'll get to you. It may take a second. There's a lot of bots that request, and I got to filter through them. So definitely answer the questions, and we'll let you in. There's a lot of resources to be available there. So hopefully this quick short video has been interesting to you and answered a couple of questions. And if you're getting started on this journey, have at it. It's worth it. I love having this in my backyard. My kids love it. Some great stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see some more stuff coming out here soon.